I welcome you to this Making You Placement Ready session. And the aim of this session is to utilize you and your inner resources. I believe that individuals are functioning at only fraction of their potential, and this is bitter truth. We can do a lot, we can do so many things, but we don't do that, not because of lack of skills and knowledge, but because of attitude. This is the key word for today's session, which I'm going to talk about. So, relation with family, friends, personal guests, physical and mental health, and just the time one spends alone with oneself hold infinitely greater possibilities for most people if they can only make some adjustment in their thinking. So, above all, you all can achieve success only if you want to do. Why I'm emphasizing on this, only if you want to do? Obviously, because if you wish to learn something, if you wish to hone your skills, definitely you can do that. So you are not to be forced to learn anything. Even no one can make you learn. While we claim will make you placement ready, but it can't be done. We can't force you to learn anything. You need to develop that thing from your inner resources, from your self, that see, I need to learn this thing. So with the help of this session, I want to enable you to be more effective in whatever you do. So one important thing which I am going to tell you, that just assume that I is the master of you. I, man, aham, Brahmasmi. So I is the master of you. And remember that I can make you ready, I can work for you, I can control your feelings, I can make you laugh, I can make you love, I can make you happy and sad, I can nurture you, I can ruin you. Overall, I can do anything and I can never be removed. However, I can be replaced. So what is this I? This I is a thought. The thought which you think. Like, what do I want to do? That you have to identify. So that's why even I will corroborate Lao Tzu, who says, watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. And watch your character, it becomes your destiny. I'll just repeat it once again because this is the crux of whole achievement, whole success. And if you critically analyze success, so SU, without you, that can't be completed. So your attitude, your I must be trained accordingly, where you can watch your thoughts by which they can become the words. Watch your words by which they can become the actions. Watch your actions by which they can become the habits. And watch your habits, they can become character. Watch your characters, it becomes your destiny. So you need to give shape to your thoughts. Think critically. What I am willing to do. Decide properly. And with the help of your attitude of winning anything. This is very important. Attitude, we need to understand what I'm trying to find out, where I'm going and what I'll do. So in that case, you need to understand that you need to train your I, and that should work according to your wish. So our scriptures also says that the personality of any learner takes good shape with the support of friends. Now, which I'm going to share with you, this is the very important thing, and you can say it's a kind of palm rule where any personality takes shapes. Just imagine, just think of your friends, your colleagues, your siblings. So who are those due to which you converted your personality? So the first thing, friends, siblings, teachers, parents, and above all, you, you, what are you doing? So, with the support of all these friends, siblings, teachers, parents, you can hone your personality very well. And I agree that many things we inherit from our parents and our ancestors, like our physical features and voice. And this inheritance is genetic, we can't do anything. But when we learn things from the society, this is cultural. We are, let's say, if I talk about today's scenario where COVID-19, so the people, those who are not respecting our doctors, our nurses, our security forces, and just imagine if anyone inherit that, no one is going to inherit that, because we are learning and we know what to learn, what not to learn. We know that we should not follow these things. So this is known as cultural. So the genetic inheritance is called genetic transmission, and all human beings have the ability, they all have abilities to learn language, but if they are not taught, they will not learn. Although I don't understand, like many times everywhere we can learn so many things, like what to eat, how to go ahead further, but the language which you are going to use for your placements, which you are going for your recruitment process, because ultimately I'll come to that particular part. So that you need to learn, that you need to understand, because language is specific, species is specific, and species uniform. That says that language can be learned and used by human languages only, or human beings only. As you know that our ancestors, not of 100 years ago, before that, just imagine the why we are known as Homo sapiens, why we are surviving too much, because of the language only. And the other aspect of cultural transmission, which I said, that the language which we learn and that is being taught to us. Somebody has told me that, see, we need to use a very polite word. So what is polite word? So in that case, the politeness, may I please request you to do the same? Let's see, if we are planning to go to visit somewhere, and I say, okay, let's come and go. The tone, the attitude, if I say, may I please request you to do the same? So in that case, you will see the impact. So in that case, we need to learn the language. And if I say, if a child of Hindi speaking parent, this is a very important thing, and most of the times I have come across the problems which I ask many students, what is the problem which you face during speaking? So they say, sir, because nobody has taught us in English. Even I didn't feel the necessity of speaking English. So that's why we haven't learned. That's why nowadays, but now when we are feeling that yes, it is a kind of requirement for us, so how to learn? Because we hesitate. And let's see, if I say, where are you going? So see the pronunciation, although that doesn't matter a lot. Be specific when you are speaking and speak very confidently. So what I was just sharing an example, like if a child of Hindi speaking parent is adopted by English parents in England and never comes in contact with Hindi, then he will speak only in English. What does it mean? Why I am sharing this thing? Because the practice, he is listening to that particular language in England. He is speaking in that word. Because even if I say, you never gone to any school to learn your native language, I believe no one will agree that yes, I have gone in our childhood to learn Hindi, Marathi, English, or any other like Telugu, any other native language. You never go to learn that language. So my only concern is to share this particular incident, that if a child is not exposed to any language, then he will not speak that language at all. Because even so, you should. The fact is that, like if I say the wolf boy Ramu, who was stolen by wolves at a very early age and was not exposed to any language, so all efforts to teach him language in Lucknow Zoo proved futile. See, it's a kind of real incident where a boy was just with the animals and he was not exposed to learn any language. So he could not, even after a lot of efforts, he could not learn later on. Fine. So you should give you should give your ears to your language in which you wish to learn. Clear? So now I'll come to the topic that career and success of any person takes shape with the help of technical and managerial strengths and hard work blended with the soft skills. Here I have talked about technical strengths, managerial strengths, hard work, and with soft skills. So these are the 4 important things which I am talking about, where I'll be specifically talking about your soft skills. How can you improve your soft skills? So your technical strengths means if you have studied with the stream of engineering like computer science, so that is your technical strength. Let's see, if you have studied, you have passed your MBA, so that will be your managerial strength. Let's see, if you have studied from BA Honors English, so English, that as a subject means domain skills, that will be your technical strength. And hard work to learn and learn. Always make sure you learn many things, but before learning any new thing, please unlearn the things and then again relearn. So this kind of attitude you have to develop in yours, like learn, unlearn, then relearn. Got it? Got my point? So I talked about soft skills also. So the question arises, what soft skills are? So soft skills are personal feature of a person which enables to interact efficiently and pleasantly with other people. I believe you all know and you like person who speaks really very well. So you always tempt to listen to the person who speaks very fluently in any language. I'm not talking about only in English, in any language. Very logically, the flow of logic, proper rationale. So all these things come under soft skills. That's why soft skills is a term which is associated with personal emotional intelligence quotient. I think you all know IQ, intelligence quotients, but EQ, there is also EQ, which is known as emotional quotient. So the cluster of personality, that's why in the very beginning I started with your personality. Like in the personality, you need to train your I, aham brahmasmi, that aham, that I, you need to train. And if once you train, once you control that I, you can definitely go ahead wherever you wish to go. So the cluster of personality traits, social graces, communication, language, personal habits, friendliness, and optimism, that yes, I can do that. All these things characterize relationships with other people. So, and I also agree that all the learners have different abilities to grasp and retain the things as we are discussing. Let's see, I'm talking about now personality and I'm talking about EQ. So those who are listening to me now, out of 100 people, one person can immediately grasp whatever I'm saying. 100 out of 100, now remaining 99. Out of those 99, 70 people will be talking about, will be thinking about, pondering over, and then at the end of the day, maybe tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow, they can understand what I was talking about. And then 1 or 2 person will take more time to learn. So we all have our different abilities to grasp and retain the things. But we also try to inculcate we all should try to inculcate all these things by which we can attain anything from the very beginning. Like if I say all the participants, all the students want to step in professional world for the livelihood, as a technocrat, as a manager, as an entrepreneur, as a teacher, or as a good businessman. And at the beginning of their lives, they have to go through the selection process in which recruiters try to find out the capable experts of their domain. See, if I say, even I'll share a very good example with you all here, in which I asked my one or two students in one of the classes. I asked, if you are going to hire, if you go like in your home, you want home assistance. In that case, what are you looking for? How you are going to choose any maid for your home? So they gave very wonderful answers. The first one was, sir, the person or the lady should be very honest. I said, okay, good. Another person said, sir, he or she should take care of the hygiene, punctual, less salary, good looking, and they gave more than 15 characteristics of that mate. Why I'm sharing this? Because just imagine, for your home assistance, if you are looking for just this is a very big question. If you are looking for home assistance and only 15, you said, sir, only 15 things we are looking for. So if you say these 15 things we want in our mate, so just imagine the recruiter, the professional world where they are recruiting people on the basis of your technical skills. So once they are talking about their technical skills, so they will look at your communication skills, your technical skills, your aptitude, your general knowledge, and something of your particular subject through which you can attain the needs of company. So the recruiters try to find out the capable experts of their domain as well as the communication skills, in which they have to show their, you have to show your excellence in a particular subject. Let's see, if I'm talking about English, so I need to show my particular excellence in that particular subject. If I'm from engineering background, so I have to particularly showcase my engineering subject in terms of excellence. Then aptitude, what is my aptitude to do anything? That's why they ask very behavioral question during the interview. General knowledge and communication skills. So one should know the effective manner to deliver the message correctly and properly with the assurance, confidence and enthusiasm. Now assurance, what do you mean by assurance? These three key terms, if you remember and if you utilize in your life, definitely no one can be a kind of obstacle in your success. So what is assurance? An applicant should have assurance of what he or she is saying. The speaker should have assurance, like if I'm saying something, so I should have the kind of assurance that whatever I'm saying, that is very, very true, and that has a kind of value, that can be experimented anywhere, that can be checked anywhere. So the speaker should have assurance, otherwise his or her, your words will not sound very credible and nobody will be taking the words in a serious note. So assurance comes from or comes due to your adequate knowledge about the subject. Let's see, if you talk about communication, so whatever I'm saying, I'm very much sure that this particular thing is very much correct, because a little knowledge whatever we have, but I'm confident for that particular subject in the content. And then the second part of this, those three key terms, is confidence. Confidence, it is an integral part of effective communication. If you're not confident enough, you won't be able to speak properly. Maybe you'll be shivering. Maybe you think that if I speak so what that other person will be thinking. So a person like a student or a participant should always convey his or her ideas with confidence to generate the trust of audience. If you are feeling so confident, so without saying, you will be generating a kind of trust between you and your audience. And even the ideas with the assurance, like if you are saying any particular fact with the assurance, they will not leave proper impact until and unless I am so confident. See, if I say, okay, so you can use assurance for communication. So see, I am not very much confident. So my assurance will not help me a lot until and unless it is not blended with the confidence. So make sure whatever you say, you should say with assurance, with the help of your knowledge, with the help of your content, but that should be delivered with the confidence. And this confidence can be attained by clarity and understanding of views. Like if I wish to say anything, I am very much clear that today in this session I'll talk in general what is communication and what is needed before going to the nitty-gritties of interview and recruitment process. So that was my overview. And then if I am able to effectively deliver my ideas are that, see, you should be very, very confident. You should you should take care of your eye, and that eye will help you in generating many ideas. Once you have generated, once you are honing your personality, in that case you can obviously learn something, and that will provide you kind of assurance. And if you are damn assured for any particular content, so confidence will come automatically. But yes, for confidence you should understand the views whatever I am saying. If you ask any question at this time, so I am very much sure that I can answer your query, I can reply what I am willing to say. So make sure that whatever you say with the clarity, in the understanding of views, and with the effective ways of delivery of ideas. Then the third part was enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is a very important part of an effective communicator. See, I'm presenting my views in front of a camera, and I don't know how many people are listening to me, but I'm very enthused. I'm very much enthusiastic. Like many people are listening to me. I'm so happy. And just imagine with a face without smile like this. If I'm speaking something, nobody is going to listen to me. So it attracts the audience and makes the audience listen properly to what is being said. If my expressions are supported, are corroborated with the views which I am saying, so each and everyone will properly understand me what I am trying to say. So on the other hand, if I say a message conveyed in a dull and boring manner, which I did it, will not leave good impression. So an enthusiast, if I give an example of our Honorable Prime Minister Modi, when he comes, he smiles, he says, "Bhaiyon, Behno," like he tries to make a connect with the audience. How? With the enthusiasm. No one can say he's not confident. He's confident a lot, and whatever he speaks, he comes with proper homework, like learning. But enthusiasm also play very important character. If you take example of other speaker here, I mean political speaker, so that speaker also comes with the knowledge and confidence, but maybe sometimes enthusiasm is missing. So an enthusiastic speaker is very well received by the people and gets along with people well. So I'll give you some important key points here, and then I'll go to the four aspects of any interview, in which the very first is your resume and cover letter, then GD, group discussion, and the final part is interview. And in the interview, they start with a very common question. I'll come to that later on within a couple of minutes. Before that, I want to discuss that you should always face your audience. See, right now I don't have any audience here, but through camera, I know many people are listening to me, so I need to face the audience. If I say I'm saying something, so whatever if I'm saying and facing to that direction, this direction, then you are not going to listen to me properly. I need to look at you, by which my expressions, my facial expressions can be easily connected. And a speaker, a presenter should have an open posture, that I should not sit like this when I am listening to anyone. That this kind of posture indicates that you are not ready to listen to me. So I should sit very openly. Yes, I am ready to accept any new thing, any good thing. And when I am saying one should face the audience, so that also comes under having proper eye contact, in which let's see, if you are sitting in front of me, all of you, fine. In my classes, if 60 students are sitting in my class, and I do have proper eye contact with them, so those who are sitting at the back sleeping, those who are sitting at the back busy on their mobile phone like this, they are listening to me, but their eyes are in the phone. So then I can immediately say, by taking name, what are you doing? Please get involved in the class. So that's why eye contact is very important, to know the interest of. Maybe I'm yawning in the class, so it means I'm not interested at all in your lecture. Got my point? So that's why eye contact is very important, to know the interest of audience. Like, even I should also give a kind of non-verbal feedback. Like you must have seen, I have given you many examples by doing. If I'm saying eye contact, so I give you examples of yawning, of looking here and there and all. So you should also give, let's see, if you are sitting in front of recruiter, so in that case you should give a non-verbal feedback also. Let's see, if I'm saying, okay, share an incident where you have faced a very challenging task. So once this particular statement is being said by the recruiter, then you should also nod your head, smiling, pleasant face, and with raising eyebrows, which mean a lot than one realizes. These are very little things, very small steps to achieve the bigger success. But if you do that, so I'm very much sure that no one can stop you to achieve your success. So these are the few things which I am talking about in terms of general things for getting the success towards your recruitment process. Now, in the recruitment, as I told you, that your first thing, your resume, and resume will take more than an hour to make you understand. So I'm not going to share each and everything here today. Simply I'll say that resume is a document through which you sell yourself, like your special abilities. You sell. You say that, see, this is what I am, and once you go for the interview, in that case you can discuss further, so other things also. So in the resume, once you have been, nowadays be careful, because many companies have scanners, so don't copy and paste anything from Google. Clear? So, okay, before I go further, if there is any question, because I think more than 32 minutes I've spoken, so if there is any question, anything else, anything you wish to ask, so please ask. You could write in a chat box. I'll wait for 1 minute. If I don't find any question, so I'll go ahead. Okay, so I didn't get any question here. So I'll talk very briefly what are the important things for your interview, for your recruitment process, and then I'll sign off. The very first thing is you need to develop your resume very well, because resume is a document where you sell your skills, in which you can opt various types of templates, various kinds. There are 3 kinds of resumes. That is a detailed structure. But in any resume, make sure you write your name, your phone number, your email ID at the top with the contact details, complete contact details. And your email ID must be very, very professional. Don't write anything else. Like if your name is Harish Chandra Srivastav, so your email ID should be harish.chandra Srivastav or harish_Chandra Srivastav. Like your email ID must be very similar to your name. Although email IDs are unique IDs, but just to make them unique, you can use numbers, you can use underscore, you can use any special character, but don't change into other thing like the Himalayan giant. Fine. So, okay, Kiran has asked one question before I go further. Every student in particular class learns same skills, but still only few get placed. What is your advice on this? See, the very same thing which I told, which I am sharing from the very beginning, every student is learning same thing. Out of 100, they pick only 1 or 2. Why? Due to best communication skills. How do you convince others? How do you make yourself very presentable, that whatever you say, that is absolutely correct? Because recruiters, most of the times, they try to find out a good team leader, a good team member, a good communicator. So if you are a good team leader, so how you are going to showcase? So during interviews they can ask, okay, have you ever faced any kind of situation where that task was very challenging? So in that case, you can say, yes sir, I have faced many challenging tasks. But please don't say like this. Whenever you give any answer, always try to fabricate with the story by which it can be proven that yes, you are a good team leader. Let's see, if you say, if I say I am a good team leader, so I can say, I have led many inter-universities competitions in my university. I led these many programs in my university, and I conducted these many events as a team leader, as a coordinator, and likewise. So once you are representing your skills, present your skills with some facts, some data, by which they can easily convince that yes, whatever you are saying is absolutely correct. So why only few get placed? Due to communication. Because you have same knowledge, but you don't know how to present that knowledge. So for presenting that knowledge, you should use small words, simple words, but with a pleasant face, which I am talking about, with a kind of proper uses of posture, gesture, facial expression, which I haven't talked about till now, but all these things are required for that particular thing. So now I believe I could give you the answer of your question. My only advice for the students, those who are not getting selected, don't to get disheartened at all. You can learn so many things. Start learning with the positive approach, and whenever you say anything in the recruitment process, please be positive with the approach. If I say, if I ask a question, okay, speak on black color, it's a very random question, fine. So you say black color is a color of gloom. So what does it represent? It is representing the negative aspect of your life. Don't start with this. Although whatever you have said is absolutely correct. So what you can do, you can say black is a color which absorbs each and everything, and that can be used anywhere. See the positive aspect of that particular thing. Clear? So now I'll talk about resume. In resume, at the top, your name, your phone number, your address, and your email ID. And I was talking about email ID, that your email ID should very similar to your name. Like my email ID is Kumar for Shravan. So my name is Shravan Kumar, but I should not write some different and some indistinct email IDs. Clear? Then career objective. You can write career objective or you can't write. Both things, both the options are clear. Means you are free to do that. Make sure if you are using career objective in the resume, that will restrict you, because in career objective you will write what is your expertise and what you are going to do with the organization. And my humble suggestion to each and everyone, please don't copy anything from Google in terms of career objective, because once you have written, I'll scan through, and through scanning I'll get to know that you have copied. Career objective means what is your aim, what is your objective, what you wish to do. And if I'm willing to do, if I say I wish to be a very renowned professor, although I should not say renowned, that is again wrong thing. That's why I take the example. I should say I want to be a good professor. How? Now I need to tell how, with the help of, with the abilities of my teaching skills. And now teaching skills in general, so many things. So now I need to delimit those things. So I can say with the help of my communication expertise. Only one thing is more than enough. Got it? Because a person can be expert of only one thing. You can't expert of, in that case you will be master of all, but you can't expert of all the things. Clear? So I'll come to this question. Okay, so let me finish my resume, then I'll come to your another question also. I think Kiran Pandey has asked a question. Do you believe apart from skills, some traits are also responsible for success in jobs? Obviously, many traits are important. We'll discuss later on. Let me finish resume. So career objective, then your educational qualification. Once you're talking about educational qualification, so that should be reversed chronological, like the current one first and then later on. Like if you are passing through graduation, so graduation, then 12th, then 10th. And you can take a kind of leverage, because nobody is asking, until unless somebody has asked to write the percentage. Don't write percentage if you have not good percentage. Clear? Because marks, everyone knows marks are simply part of an art which can be achieved. Knowledge is something different. Getting marks is something different. So if you have in all classes got more than 90%, so you can write, but just if you find any variation there, so please don't mention that. Please don't mention that 70%, then 65%, and 80%. So that says that you are not consistent in your determination. Clear? Then your some academic specialities, Let's see, you have conducted any event, maybe you have gone through any internship, maybe you have conducted any project. So mention all these things. And then you can also there are various registers, like if you have presented any paper as a student, that can be also written under publications. So there are various things to be written, but make sure you write the relevant thing which is required for the company. Always resumes must be tailored as per the need of company. Like if you're writing resume, if you're writing a cover letter for the job of editor, in that case your reading skills are very important. That should be highlighted. But if you are applying for manager, so in that case your managerial skills are very important. So that should be highlighted. As per the need of recruiter, you should tailor your resume accordingly. Clear? I think I'm cleared for the part of resume, although there is more to say. And yes, one more important thing in resume, please don't mention your gender, your marital status, father's name and mother's name. These things are not required at all nowadays, because none of the recruiters can discriminate any person on the basis of sex, gender, race. So they are hiring you for your skill. They are not hiring you that you are male or female. They are hiring you on the basis of your capabilities. They are not hiring you for the name of your father and mother. So these are the irrelevant information which we should avoid writing in our resume. And if you have passport number, that can be also mentioned at the top, where you are giving your information, your personal information, through which anyone can reach you, through post, through mail, through phone. So that information must be given. And at the end, you also need to mention your declaration also, and references. So again, references are subject to recruiters need. If they say you need to write the references, then you should provide. Otherwise, simply write a line. The references will be provided as and when required. And then declare that whatever you are saying above is up to your best knowledge and true. And if anything happens, then you are responsible for the same. And then at the right hand side, your name in capitals, and if you are sending hard copy, then signature is required. Otherwise, if you are sending through email, then your capital letter within brackets is more than sufficient, and that symbolizes your signature also. Clear? So that comes under the resume part. Now GD part, and I don't have that much time now. I do have, I think, only 15 minutes. So I'll talk a little bit of GD. What is GD and why GD is important? So in GD, if I say group discussion, so most of the times I say GD are elimination round, in which recruiters intently try to eliminate you. So what are the important factors through which they can eliminate you, through which they can find that, see, this person is absolutely fine, this person is not fine. So what are the things, what are the important things in GD which you need to take care of? So the very first thing is communication, clarity, accuracy and brevity. So in communication, you should talk to the point, straight, and please don't ever try to hurt anyone. Be polite, be humble while speaking. Now second thing is team leadership. How can you showcase leadership skills during GD? So you can initiate the GD, that is one of the things of leadership. You can close the GD, again that is part of leadership skill. And the most important thing, if GD is taking shape of other discussion, so you can take it back to on the track. and say, my dear friends, the given topic is so and so, so we need to discuss on so and so. Likewise, that person can say. And the most important thing to showcase your leadership skill, if a person in GD, group of 10, one or two person are not speaking, in that case it's your responsibility as a leader. Just throw some ideas to the person. You say, okay my dear, what is your opinion? Got it? Give some idea, by which, because if he's not if he's unable to speak, it means he doesn't know the topic, he can't speak. But if he's sitting there, it means he has capabilities. So you can throw some ideas, because most of the times we are not aware with so many things. In GD, people ask general topics, people ask the current affairs, the current topics. Maybe I'm not very much interested in sports, and they have given a topic on sports, so I'm not very much confident, so I won't be able to speak. So in that case, but if I'm listening to you all, and a person has given me opportunity to speak, so I'll be able to speak. That says good team leadership. Now, the third part is team membership. How can you showcase that you are a good team member? Let's see, somebody is not agreeing with your point of view. It's very good if other is differing with your opinion. So you can politely say, okay, I understand your point of view, but and if you are convinced also with the help of his particular, he has given wonderful examples, he has given many opinions, many live examples, and many logical data also. But make sure if you have differed with the person in the very beginning, then don't switch your ideas. Be firm with your ideas, but be determined that, see, I agree that whatever you are saying is right, but still I think that my proposal or whatever I have said is absolutely correct. So that says that you, as a team member, you can accept others' point of view also. So when you are accepting others' point of view, that says that you are a good team member. You can work anywhere, in any circumstances. And now, the third, like I talked about communication, I talked about team membership, leadership, and now the fourth one is listening skills. When you are in GD, listening is very important, and unfortunately in India, we are not giving proper attention to listening skills. We avoid listening, but my dear friends, my students, my colleagues, make sure one should have caliber to listen properly. If you are able to listen very well, then you can comprehend. But due to our knowledge, most of the times without listening to others, we speak without knowing that that person could not finish his or her sentence, and we misinterpret. This is the reason for misinterpretation. So you need to be very, very attentive when you are listening. Like ideally, if you are sitting and looking at somewhere else, so make sure when you are in group, you are listening to the person who is speaking, and very attentively. Even you can come a little forward also to listen to the person. That says you are very attentive. So that is leadership skill. Sorry, that will come under listening skills. And listening skills is also important. Let's see, I was talking about a person doesn't know about sports, and if a person, many people are speaking on sports, so you are capable enough to interpret in your own way and speak. So recruiters are looking for a good team leader, good member, good communicator, and a person who listens to any instruction, any particular thing very attentively. They prefer to go ahead with this. Fine. And then once they have gone through the GD process, out of 10, obviously they can select one and they can say, okay, we can meet in interview process. So in GD, be attentive, don't shout. There are some do's and don'ts, like don't show finger to anyone, like you are saying wrong, don't do like this, don't ever do. Fine. Don't sit like this, don't sit like cross armed. Clear? And like don't, your back should straight, your back should straight, and be attentive. These are few postures which you need to take care of. And when you are speaking to someone, your eye contact with not only with that person, you should speak to all in a group, because you are talking in a group. So at that time, talk in group, talk to all. These are few important tips for cracking any group discussion. I believe I should stop now, and because I have only 7 minutes to go, so if there is any question, there are other questions, so most welcome, and you can ask. And other things for interview and all, we can come up and I can give other sessions in near future, because I need to give a very thorough description of group discussion also, which I haven't given till now. I gave a very general approach in which I talked about how can you train your eye, aham brahmasmi, eye, how can you train that, how can you inculcate a good personality, what are the devices by which you can do that, and in that your communication, your friends, your how can you learn all those things I discussed for that, and then how can you develop your resume. And I believe you know the difference among resume, CV and biodata. CVs are being used by professionals with the work experience. Like I can write CV, I can't write resume. And a fresher who has not at all experience of work experience, then he can't write resume, CV. So CV is meant for experienced people, those who are already in job. Resumes are meant for those who are not in job, they are going to enter a new world, means it is meant for freshers. And resumes must be of maximum 2 pages, not more than that. Make sure it's good if you make it concise of 1 page only. Clear? And the biodata that is very much visible with the help of words itself, the description of your physique, biodata, biological aspects, in which that biodata is being used for marriages purposes, or for film industry, for fashion designing students, for architects, where they are bringing their portfolios. So in that case they can also use their biodata. But make sure when you speak to your recruiter may intentionally speak wrong, please show your biodata. Don't say biodata ever, you will say resume. Don't say ever CV if it is not applicable to you. Say resume, don't say resume. Make sure. And with this resume, I'm going to sign off. If anything, any question is required, any question is to be asked, I'll wait for 1 minute and then I'll take your leave. And I hope you all have liked this session. And if anything is required, so you can contact me anytime on my number through this kitab, this City Library Haldwani. You can write to them and they can connect us. Thank you everyone for your active participation through messages and all. So those who wish to ask anything, they can write in the chat box. Okay, I believe there is no question at all. So once again, at the end, I would like to thank Mr. Arjun Bisht and Central Library Haldwani, who are working very good in terms of academics to promote to inculcate the reading habit with the help of his library. And he is also conducting these kind of sessions for his community all around Haldwani, and anyone. Obviously, it's a very online process, so anyone can join. But his basic intention is to join, to learn nearby their people, those who are residing in Haldwani. So, okay, thank you so much.